Again, we want to thank our special sponsors here. Without our sponsors, we would not be able to make this event possible for everyone. And we're also very excited to hear what our sponsors have to offer our PKU community. So they're each going to tell us a little bit about what they're doing for our community. And we'll start with Biomart.
Hello, and thank you, everyone. I am honored to be here on behalf of all of the individuals at Biomart that wake up every day and decide to make PKU the biggest part of their career. So I'm honored to be here. So happy we can be here live, especially after 2 years of COVID. So at Biomart, we have over 15 years in the PKU community, building collaborations, working together to bring forward innovative treatments, also to build support and education for healthcare providers and individuals with PKU. And honestly, we're here today because we are invested in Birth Through Life for individuals with PKU and their families. And we want to ensure that we continue that collaboration with the healthcare community, with individuals with PKU, to continue to push the boundaries of treatment forward and empathetic support as well. So happy to be here. So what do we have in store for you today? I'm excited to share. We have 2 really wonderful working sessions centered around teens and their caregivers. So the first is happening tomorrow, Navigating Choppy Waters, How to Chart Adolescence with Your Teen. And this session truly is designed to help caregivers have an opportunity to talk with each other, but also expert faculty, as well as a lovely young woman, Grace, with an individual with PKU, who will talk through her experience as a child transitioning into adolescence, and then where she is today as a 22-year-old with her Phe levels under good control. So we're looking forward to that session. Please attend if you can. So that's tomorrow, 1:45 to 3 p.m. And you can see our faculty listed. You also have a handout in your bags to tell you a little bit of the background about the faculty that will be presenting in that session. It should be very interactive as well. There will be 10 minutes of presentation and then 5 minutes of discussion. We also have a session specifically for teens themselves. And so this session truly is to empower teens on their pathway to independence, to take charge of their PKU, to really understand and recognize how high Phe levels may manifest at home, at school, and in social situations, to identify their own Phe goals, and then to move forward to set and achieve manageable goals in their lives. And I think one of the things we recognize as an organization, and I think the entire community, that Phe levels and management tend to become a little bit more challenging through adolescence. I'm a mother of adolescents, so I can understand adolescent in general, but certainly this should be an exciting session. And we have 4 of our clinical coordinators who will be leading this session. They're all highly educated in PKU and the treatment options that Biomart provides. And so that we hope if you're a teen or you have a teen that you'll encourage them to go sit with their peers. And this will be a really interactive session as well. So I hope you'll attend. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight 2 of the support services that we offer as an organization. The first is our clinical coordinator program. So our clinical coordinators all have a clinical background, but they're truly there just to support education, support patients in reaching out to their clinic, and then education about the treatment options we provide along their treatment journey as well. And these individuals are assigned geographically. So if you have a clinical coordinator, that person would be the one person you talk to for one-on-one support. And then they would stay in close contact with your clinic as well. So they don't offer healthcare advice, but they do offer education. And there's a flyer in your bags for this. And we also have a group called Biomart Rare Connections. And this is the group that really helps provide information about financial assistance. So they have case managers that can conduct benefits investigations, help with finding financial assistance, co-pay assistance, and foundation support where needed. And so these are 2 offerings that I just want to make sure that everyone is cognizant of. And again, you have information in your packets on how to locate information about both of those to take advantage of those services. And then lastly, I would love to invite you to come to our booth. We organize and hold patient events across the country. And so if you visit one of our booths, we have a Kuvan booth, a Palynziq booth, we're more than happy to help you sign up for a patient event. And if there isn't one in your area, to show you how to request one on pku.com. And so please visit us there. We also have social media presence now. So we have an Instagram page and a Facebook page listed here. And really, you are what inspires us to get up and go to work every day. So please follow us. We want to stay connected. It's been a long 2 years of all of us working on Zoom, and we're just thrilled to be here with you live today. So then lastly, one of the new things that we've been working on, and Karen Spalding, who's here today, on our team has been working on revamping our webpage, our pku.com webpage that has a lot of resources available for you. And we want to make sure that it's easy to navigate, easy to find what you're looking for. So you'll see that coming in the coming weeks. But thank you for having us. We're all very honored to be here and excited for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Good evening. Happy to be here. And for those who don't know me, my name's Chris Hendricks, and I kind of ended up here by accident. I used to look after PKU patients for more than 20 years and other rare diseases, and was busy setting up rare disease centers in Africa when COVID decided I need something else better to do because we can't do it anymore. So I thought, where can I help? And I thought PKU is the hardest disease I can think about. So that's how I ended up with Nestlé Health Science. And what I'm going to do this afternoon is I'm going to do a little bit of speed dating. And I'm going to tell you the things I think you want to hear, but not the real details. That is on the poster, and I'm around if you want to talk about the science. But let's talk about what I think patients really want to know about our program and what we do, excuse me, at the moment. So firstly, our current latest program is the one on our AV-PAL. So this is a oral enzyme substitution therapy. So this is a compound which not absorbed. It only works in the GI tract. And the question I get asked is usually, but what about the cinnamic acid and the ammonia? Just quickly up front, the ammonia concentrations released are incredibly small, and that's part of normal metabolism. And cinnamic acid, which is released, is far less than the coffee you drink every day. So they are not a concern, but we're happy to talk more about those. So that is just up front. The other thing is, but what will our trial product look like? So unfortunately, I did not have an image of a USA cent, but this is a euro. They're more or less the same size. And what you see is our compound is mini tabs at the moment. That's the size of them. They're about 2 millimeters. And we stuck about 67 of these into a capsule. And we predict that the capsules is going to be about around 24 at the highest dose, which patients will be taking. And the reason for having it in the mini tab is that when we go to pediatrics, we can break it over and we don't need a new formulation. So that's basically the whole idea. So it does have some additives or excipients, as we say. So when we're looking at clinical trials, which was so nicely explained by the PTC people, this is an early phase study, so we really need to establish the safety at this stage, but we do want to look at the efficacy as well. And really what we'll be looking as a group of 3 active patients with 1 placebo in our clinical trial. And what we think is about 36 patients we will need to complete this next study, which is really important to us. So what population are we looking at? So we'll be looking for adult PKU patients, of course, PKU, and those are the kind of standard requirements on weight and things, but more important, what patients wants to know is what will be the other requirements. So you will have to have a level of Phe above 483 micromole per liter, or about 8 milligrams per deciliter. So that would be the entry, and you should have more of 2 of those in the last year, which is fairly common. My patients in the UK easily beat those numbers, but maybe you are much better, the adults here. So, but those will be the cohorts we're looking for. And the really other important things we have to do is that it will involve 2 overnight stays per 14 days. And I'll show you a little bit of a diagram what this is going to look like, just to give you a sense of what we're looking at the moment. The reason what I'm talking about a sense is, like in most things in life, the regulators can't agree, so they say opposing things. So we will confirm later on if it will be the same group of people which is exposed to the 3 different dosages, or if they will need to be 3 different groups, and we should get the alignment soon on that. So that's where we're going with this. But basically what it is, we're going to have a healthy volunteer short study, single dose, just because that is a requirement from the regulators. And then we're going to go into our oral substitution therapy for 14 days. And we're really looking for patients who will be able to keep their protein intake around 20%. Life is not perfect, but 20% is most probably doable to give us a nice basis to work on to really show the potential efficacy and also to get some idea of the potential side effects of these compounds. So our main objectives really are to establish the safety of the enzyme. We know it does not get absorbed, but we know also it may cause side effects like diarrhea or bloating or gas. So we do need to look at that. And that's why we only do a short exposure, 14 days. We need to be just clear that before we do a longer study. We'll be taking that 3 or 4 times a day is our best idea at the moment. And really it is to see how much we can influence the phenylalanine metabolism in a short period of time. We know it's not long enough to show the true effect, but it'll be long enough to know if it's worthwhile developing this compound further. So what do our timelines look like? So we, as you've heard earlier today, we're working with the Pittsburgh group in developing a PKU pig colony. So we hope that we'll have the PKU pig data with our compound available before we actually start the clinical trial. We also, at the moment, we've been increasingly delayed by COVID. And if anybody wants to talk about resins and COVID, I can tell you long stories about that. But that's why we are so delayed at the moment. But we have finally got resin and we've got a manufacturing slot that's all set up for September this year. So we will have product in my hands early next year. So we need to do the quality control and the other safety checks. So, but I'm hoping that by next year, this time, we will be talking about the first patient in the clinical trial or very close to this time. And this is our schedule at the moment. So we're looking forward, and if you want to know anything more, or if you've got any thoughts or input you want to share with me about this idea of having a small group of patients doing 3 blocks of treatment, or rather a larger group of doing just shorter groups, I'd love to hear that, because those are the discussions we are having with the different regulators. And finally, I would just like to thank also the NPKUA that who's helped us in designing the outcome measures and also given us some advice on what patients really need. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Nutricia.
Hi there, I'm Sandy. I talk really loud, so I'm going to step back a bit, right? I'm Sandy, I'm from Nutricia, and I have to say, I have to hit a button, I think, right? Okay. That one. Okay, there we go. So starting over, I'm Sandy, I'm from Nutricia, and I want to say that being back in person and seeing you all is such a privilege, and I am extremely happy to be here. We launched a new website over the last few months ago with COVID, a lot of new website, but I look at it and it says from big moments to little ones. And I just want to share, when I look around the room or when I'm out there are so many familiar faces. So if you haven't met me yet, I've been working in PKU for almost 18 years now. And if you know my colleague, Sarah Foster, she's over 20 years. We've watched some of you grow up from little kids to adults now. And we've known your families for so long that it's just really a privilege to be here and be able to serve you. So what we offer is a lot of options. You know, as the PKU community has aged and grown, needs have changed. So we've tried to keep up with that by innovating and giving options for more people. So we offer a full-bodied kind of shake-like formula. If you're older and you need less to drink and more protein, we have less to drink options. Pre-made, ready-to-drink options, great for school, take them to work, and then flexibility. So we have a variety of options. So if you haven't come to our booth yet, you know, come talk to us, tell us what your needs are, and we'll help you find the right formula for you. Another piece is the innovation. A little fun fact that I wanted to share too is that the phenylate line was actually born right here in the Pacific Northwest out of a research study from OHSU around the mid-90s, looking to see if they could formulate a formula that tastes better. So this is a heritage for us, as you know, phenolates come a long way. And now we've moved into the GMP space with that phenylate line, offering different varieties. So during the pandemic, we launched the Ultra, and we had been working on it for a few years in partnership with the community, several focus groups, tastings, reformulating, writing to make it sure it's, you know, has a great taste to it. And we launched that in 2020, July, so 2 years ago now. And it was our fastest growing product. So if you haven't tried it, I encourage you to, you know, check out the Phenylate Ultra. And then here at NPQA, we are now bringing our drink mix line, which you can see launched in 2015, into a can format, because plain unflavored is, we've learned through the years, is a really preferred format, because you could kind of do what you want with it. You know, you can make it into another flavor, or a lot of people who just grew up with plain formula enjoy plain and also enjoy can format. So between different flavors, different formats, we're really trying to have a variety because everybody's different. Also, nutrition's more than just formula, right? We offer support for different stages of life. Here's just a few examples of kits that you could ask your clinic for that we'll send to you. But with our new website, we have an education section. So, you know, there's different recipes and tips for traveling or just going to school. I know someone in this room helped write a blog about college and how to use formula on campus. So we're really trying to meet what your needs are. So definitely stop by and say, oh, I wish I knew more about XYZ. We want to know. And then we also have education and a really robust YouTube channel. If you haven't had a chance to see that, we've added, Chef Rachel here has created lots of low protein recipes that are just using fresh ingredients from the market, whether it's jackfruit or watermelon, lots of different recipes that are easy to make at home to fit the diet. And then our different, you know, recipe books and cookbooks that we have offer. We brought them here, or again, our website's just Nutrition Metabolics. And also things change, right? I know even in the most recent months, you know, obtaining products has become a little bit more difficult. So we have a navigator program that can help you obtain products, find a supplier, and get started. So last but not least, just to share with you, with Nutritia, we offer a stepped approach to samples, because if you come here at the booth for yourself or maybe your child, they taste it, ooh, I like it. But then you go home and then you mix it and they're like, oh, I don't like it. So we want you to taste it. If you think you like it, talk to your clinic, ask for a trial, and we'll give you a 3 to 5 day supply so you can really be sure. And then if you are sure, we have our navigator to help you secure that supply and get started on our product. So we're you know, we feel part of the community. Again, 18 years in the business. My coworkers are all, you know, we've been with Nutrition a very long time. We feel part of the community, so share with us. That way we can help you better. So thank you. Next, we'll hear from VitaFlow. I was going to, and then I've already blown it too many times today.
Okay. Is it this one?
Yes.
This one right here to advance?
No, I think the green.
The green one. Well, that makes
There you
sense.
go.
The green one. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Elisaveta, and I am here, and I'm thrilled that we're in person. So many familiar faces and so many new ones. I'm also very, very privileged to be able to represent my team here today. We have a wonderful group of people who wake up every morning with buzzing ideas in their head about how to support this community and how to innovate boldly. So what I want to focus today is on one of our very, very bold brands that we're very much love and are very proud of, and many of you love as well. This is our Pku Sphere product family. So this is a GMP-based product. So I think many of you here are familiar with GMP, and because we don't have that much time, I will just mention that GMP is a glycomacropeptide-based medical food, and this is a newer innovation. Is different than amino acid-based products. So it is more of an intact protein source, and so it impacts the taste or the sensory profile of the product. So we really focus on making products that are going to make adherence to the diet sustainable. So 3 core features that we've really focused on with this product line is number 1, taste. Number 2, we want this to be convenient and we want it to be customizable. And of course, low volume, because we all know that it's difficult to comply with a volume of something that you have to take every day, all the time. So some of the other key features, we have our ready-to-drink product, which has a great vanilla flavor. It is in a resealable bottle and packs an amazing amount of 20-gram protein equivalent in only 8 ounces. And that is actually quite an incredible technical achievement that major kudos go to our R&D team for being able to come up with this. And Pku Sphere powder, we have 5 great flavors and 2 new flavors that have just joined the family, banana and lemon. And these are pre-measured packets with 15-gram and 20-gram protein equivalent, and they mix with only 4 fluid ounces of water. So this is a graph that kind of demonstrates that Pku Sphere liquid truly is the lowest volume option from the ready-to-drink options on the market. 8 fluid ounces are on average, it provides 12 fluid ounces less per gram of protein equivalent. So both of these products are designed to maximize your P intake and support the diet sustainability over time. Now, I don't have much time to get into this data, but we know that these types of products have been successful in bringing people to back into diet. And we know that adults do very well, but we weren't sure how children would do with these types of products. So we conducted a long-term study where we looked at this product and how children and teenagers were able to adhere to the product, but also did it impact their metabolic control. So in this long-term study, and it's noteworthy to say that these were very well-controlled children. They were also mostly classical PKU, and none of them are on sapropterin therapy. This is in the UK. All of these children did very well on the product, and they maintained their metabolic control. So this is a clinical study that we did right down the road here with our OHSU partners. I won't get into the nitty-gritty, but we do have a scientific poster, so please visit us tomorrow to learn more about this study. Overall, the product was rated very positively for features such as appearance, smell, taste, texture, and packaging, ease of preparation. This is a busy slide, but the highlight here is really we're very passionate about creating resources and support programs to serve you and the community. The one program that I really want to highlight is our Formula for Success program. So we've heard many times today, and we're all painfully aware of access being a major challenge. So this program is an individualized program that is there to take the burden off of HCPs or healthcare providers and patients alike so that they don't have to face the challenging environment of reimbursement and insurance. Call to action number 1. Oops, how do I go back? I can't go back.
I'll go back.
I was there. Oh no, I'm just.
Whoa,
Is
There you go.
somebody
Whoa, whoa,
trying
whoa.
to do it? Okay.
Oh.
I think we were, okay.
you're both doing it.
All right, so call to action number 1. If you have PKU, we want to hear from you. And that just rhymed and I did not plan that. So if you have PKU, we have some survey research that we're conducting and would really love for you to participate. Tell us your story about your experience with PKU, taking formula, snap a shot. I saw somebody doing it. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. Or just join us at the booth and you can learn more about how to participate in this survey research. Your second call to action, very, very important if you haven't already done so. There's a fierce competition going out there. Are you team lemon or are you team banana? I happen to be team banana. So go out there and visit our booth and please try these 2 fantastic new flavors. And last but not least, something that we're very excited and proud to share with you, and this is fresh off the press, on July 6th, oh, the slide is still hidden, so I will speak to this. this is fresh off the press, so we didn't know if we would be able to share this with you all. But on July 6th, the FDA gave us permission or granted us permission to import our PKU Start infant formula into the US. And we're very, very excited. The product, I believe, is on its way as we speak. And so we're very, very happy to be able to provide another option for the most vulnerable of our patients, which is our PKU babies. Thank you so much. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we made it work. Thank you.
Thank you, Biomart. And now we'll hear from Homology.
Thank you, Green. Thanks. Hello, my name is Cece Fairley, and I'm a genetic counselor working at Homology Medicines Incorporated. I really appreciate the opportunity to come to present to you today, where I want to talk about our gene editing and gene therapy programs with our aim is to treat and potentially cure PKU. That's what we're aiming for. I'm going to start with a little bit of information about who Homology Medicines is. Our mission is to cure genetic disease. And the way in which we have developed and are doing that is we have developed a gene editing and gene therapy platform. And by that, I mean starting from the very beginning of the discovery and then the research and development of a specific treatment approach called AAV-HSCs. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about those on the next few slides. And then bringing that all the way up into clinical trials, where we currently have a phase 2, phase 1, and a phase 1, phase 2 trial, both gene editing and gene therapy, which talk about individually for PKU, as well as a gene therapy trial for MPS II, which is a Hunter syndrome. It's a whole different genetic condition. So in order to be able to talk about this, I have to go back to the pathway you all have seen several times today and probably many, many times over your life, but it helps set up a foundation for how I want to discuss this. So as you know, PKU, of course, is caused by mutations or changes in the PAH gene. So this error in this change within the genetic information then means that you cannot produce enough or any functional PAH enzyme. And of course, as you all know, PAH enzyme breaks down, oops, sorry, went too quickly. Sorry, my animation isn't working, but you all know how this works. Because the PAH enzyme isn't working, you end up with an accumulation of phenylalanine, and you don't get the conversion to tyrosine. As you know, the effects for that is there's issues with cognition and with the brain. So again, you all know this very, very well, so I don't need to go through that. So our first, slightly different order than with which I practice, so I apologize for that. So we're going to start with gene editing. So in the gene editing platform, what we did is we developed, again, this specific treatment approach, these vectors, where the information, a functional PAH gene has been inserted into it, and you receive it by one-time IV infusion. It has specific targeting to get it to the liver. It gets to the liver, and then once it's inside the liver, it exists in two different forms. One is in a separate compartment all on its own called an episome. And within that episome, all it does is make PAH enzyme, so functional enzyme. This episome and the vector that we included also has a liver-specific promoter. So all that means, pretty high level, keeping it here, it just means that that revs up the production of specifically the PAH enzyme within the liver. So we kind of just wanted to rev up how much could be produced within that. In gene editing, the other approach that ends up happening is the vector that gets inside these liver cells. They also, oops, sorry, it's taking a step back like the other person did. They get inside the liver cells, and once they're there, they insert into the DNA. So this is a little bit different than probably what most of you have read about or heard about in the media, and it's different than what Dr. Harding was talking about earlier with CRISPR, because that actually cuts the DNA. It causes a cut in the DNA. We instead use homology arms, And what that means is these are very long sequences, or again, the written information in the DNA that matches up exactly within your own DNA within the non-functional pH gene. So kind of like Velcro, it comes up and it binds right up to it, and it puts in a functional copy of the gene right at one specific spot. So we have a lot of information about the accuracy of that, and it's all available at our poster, which is also here. So please come by, look at that, and get some more information about how well that targeting works, which is very well. And then once it's inserted within that, it makes, again, functional pH enzyme. The importance of this is because if it is inserted directly into the DNA, anytime that cell makes copies of itself, which has to happen in a growing liver, like in a child, the liver obviously needs to get bigger and bigger. So as it makes copies of itself, that information, that newly inserted DNA sequence gets passed down to all the copies of the cell. So it ends up getting passed down, and that's our approach for children. This is, again, I think I already went through all of that again, so I'm just going to skip ahead. We currently have a gene editing trial that is enrolling, and again, we can provide any information for any of you who are interested in this. We have this as well at our booth, but as an overview for that, the screening period is originally to see who you qualify. For this trial, even though the ultimate goal is to be able to provide it for children as well, we're starting at adults. So if you meet the inclusion criteria of 18 to 55 and with specific fee levels, and then you decide it's something you want to participate in, and you do consenting, then from there, you get a one-time IV infusion. And then for 2 years, there'll be serial monitoring looking at fee levels and some other things, but also looking at safety, which of course happens in any clinical trial. So not necessarily different than most of you are used to and have had to deal with your entire life. Again, that's serial monitoring. Then there's an extension period, a follow-up period, where that same monitoring will be happening, but less frequently, because again, we want to see how well it continues to work, or what are the fee levels at, what's the safety look like. So as I mentioned, there's specific criteria for qualifying for this study. I'm not going to go through each one of these. I gave you some of the highlights, and there are many more. For those of you who've ever participated in a clinical trial, there are many. But for any of you who'd like more details about this, again, we have information at the booth, or we can actually have you talk directly to one of the clinical trial sites. So if you want to talk to them and get some specific information from them. And I also wanted to mention that we have an additional clinical trial that's ongoing. It's for gene therapy. And this is when you may remember from what I was talking about earlier, it's the same thing of our vector getting targeted directly to the liver. And then once it gets inside, it stays in that episomes and it makes copies of itself, again, with that revved up promoter to make a lot of functional enzyme. So in this case, because it has not integrated into the DNA, we are targeting this approach to adults where the liver is the size it needs to be, and you're not really making new copies of any new cells. So therefore, you don't have to worry about it not being integrated into the DNA. So slightly different approach between the two. And this is, oh, I'm definitely over, sorry. So this is definitely all our contact information for those of you who want to take a quick picture. And then again, also please come by and visit us in the booth to ask more questions, or we can go ahead and visit our poster tomorrow too for details about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, no. Ptc Therapeutics, I think we've gone, no. Ptc Therapeutics, are you in the room? There he is. Yeah, actually, if you guys are done, we'll let the next group come in. Thanks. You're in the next group. No, I'm just going by the list of this. You're on there, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Hi, my name is Neil Smith. I'm with Ptc Therapeutics. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our study Affinity. It's a phase 3 study of Ptc 923, a synthetic form of sepiapterin. So I'd like to just introduce you to what Ptc 923 is. PTC923 is, as I said, a synthetic form of sepiapterin. If you look at the diagram on your left-hand side, this is a diagram of the de novo synthesis of Tetrahydropyoptron, or BH4. BH4 is an essential cofactor for phenylalanine hydroxylase. And sepiapterin is essentially formed via a non-enzymatic conversion in the de novo pathway. And so sepiapterin itself is a naturally occurring substance. It's in all of our bodies right now. And what we're doing is providing a supplement of sepiapterin as PTC923, which quickly is converted unidirectionally into BH4 very rapidly once administered orally. It's called sepiapterin because it's the color of sepia, which is a orange, yellow, orange, red hue. It was first identified over 50, 60 years ago. All right. Introduction to our phase 3 study. We have a phase 3 study that's ongoing called Affinity. The study is a 2-part study. Part 1 is really highlighted on this slide. In part 1 is a responsiveness assessment for patients to determine whether or not they have a response to PTC923. Patients will get open label treatment for 2 weeks if they're deemed eligible for participation. Following that 2-week period, if they've had a response of by a 15% reduction in their blood Phe, they are eligible then to continue into part 2 of the study. We are enrolling patients of all ages. Those that are less than 2 years old will go immediately into a open label long-term extension study where they can continue to receive treatment. Those subjects that are 2 years and older, all the way to adults, will then go into part 2 of the study. And part 2 is a randomized controlled study where subjects will be randomized in a 1-to-1 ratio. So you have a 50-50 chance of getting into active treatment or placebo for 42 days or 6 weeks. And subjects will receive PTC923 or placebo. Those that get into the PTC923 arm will be put into a forced dose escalation. They receive 3 different doses over that 6-week period, every 2 weeks, increasing their dose from 20 to 40, ultimately finishing the study at 60 milligrams per kilogram per day. Once they're done with that study, all subjects will again have the opportunity to go into our open label extension where they will receive treatment for at least 12 months, but probably longer depending on how long it takes for us to get the product approved. And as I said, the study is ongoing right now. We have several sites in the US across the entirety of the United States. There are sites now in the United States actively enrolling. If you'd like to learn more about the study, feel free to stop by our booth, which is out there. Feel free to stop me throughout the conference. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. We're very excited to be able to offer a new opportunity to PKU patients and look forward to working with you and potentially bringing you another treatment option. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, if we can have the rest of our sponsors come up to the table: Relief Therapeutics, Pku Health, Synlogic Therapeutics, Cambrook Foods, Abbott Nutrition, and we have Solace. Our first is Relief Therapeutics.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Kim, and I'm here on behalf of Relief Therapeutics. We are a newcomer to PKU here in the US, but we have very strong PKU roots in Europe. And I'm just going to spend a few minutes today giving you a little bit of information about who we are as a company and an exciting new product called PKU Go-Like that will be launching here in the US later in the year. So just a brief history of, again, who we are as a company and our roots. So 9 years ago, we are incorporated as Relief Therapeutics, and a few years later, the headquarters were moved to be based in Geneva, Switzerland. In 2021, there was a very pivotal seminal event in the history of the company with the purchase of APR, or Applied Pharma Research, which gave us immediate access to commercial and development operations in Europe, based in Berlin, Switzerland. And then this year, we are now in the process of building a US commercial team to launch the product PKU GoLike for patients here in the US. Overall, we are building an extensive network of partnerships, most notably with Acer Therapeutics. There's currently awaiting approval from the FDA for their lead molecule, Acer 001, for urea cycle disorders. And we are very active on the business development front to identify therapeutics that will allow us to achieve our company vision of establishing a foothold and a foundation across multiple therapeutic areas to bring great innovative medicines to patients with rare diseases and significant levels of unmet need. This is a team that we have here at the booth and at the conference. We'd love to get to know as many of you as possible. Most of us are based here in the US. Our Chief Medical Officer, Nermeen, came all the way from London, and Paolo Galfetti traveled all the way from Lake Como, Italy, to be here today. He's the CEO of APR, and his eldest of 3 sons was born with PKU. And that's what gave him and his company the significant impetus to develop a new medical food product or formula for PKU patients. For our product, PKU GoLike, we utilize a pharmaceutical grade technology called Physiomimic Technology. And the basis of it is that we coat very, very small granules in little packets that allow the granules to go bypass the stomach and to be absorbed in the gut area at the beginning of the small intestine. This allows the product to mirror the physiological absorption of natural proteins, and that is the clinical hallmark of our product. And that's why we have slow release, and that is a very big point of differentiation that we're happy to share and discuss. As a result of that, we coat the amino acids so we are able to take away the odor, the taste, and the aftertaste that are often associated with free amino acids. This is a graph taken from the Journal of Inborn Errors of Metabolism and Screening in 2018. This is one of our pivotal publications, and what it demonstrates is when you look at the plasma amino acid concentration of free amino acids, shown by the dotted line, compared to natural food proteins, shown by the solid line, our plasma concentration mirrors that shown by the solid line. And so there's a less of a peak, and then the curve shifts to the right, and you will see the separation of the curves at approximately 2 hours after consumption. And what that means is that we have a higher level of amino acids in the plasma for a greater period of time compared to the free amino acids. And that's where you can see really the effect of the slow release and the absorption. We have 2 great products to share with you. The sachets are in 15 and 20 gram packets, and we have samples at our booth that you can mix. It's best mixed with soft, creamy foods with a nice texture. And so we've got some applesauce and some pudding that you can sample it with, and your children as well. And also we will be launching for the first time the new fruit bars that we have that take the granules and put them in a more convenient form. We're very excited to be here with all of you today. We look forward to working with you for many years to come, and we thank you so much for your kind attention.
And next, we'll hear from Pku.
So good afternoon, everyone. Name is Dimitrios. I'm representing Pku Health, which is a Danish company located quite close to the city of Copenhagen. We are an in vitro manufacturer of in vitro diagnostic devices, and we are a rather young company founded in 2018. But despite that, we have a very strong technological and IP foundation We have a product out in Europe, which is approved for the detection of coronavirus infections. And we have been working very hard on expanding on our core technology to allow a wide range of biomarker testing and make that possible to happen at home. At the very heart of our technology, we have the Eco Analyzer, which despite its diminutive size, actually packs a lot of innovation and technology in it. With it, we can mix the agents, transfer them around the system, heat them up, and also we have optical modules in here that can accommodate a wide range of detection techniques, both absorbance and fluorescence. So essentially, we have all the components needed to have clinical grade testing. We envision this as a system and as a platform where multiple analytes can be run on just a single device. And the way we hope to do that is to have a system comprised of both the analyzer itself, but also have test-specific capsules, disposable capsules containing all the reagents needed to run a test. For Phi in particular, we are working on a Phi assay. We are moving away from blood spot testing and all of the problems associated with it. We want to test in plasma. And for that, we'll also have developed a sampling device that is able to filtrate plasma out of blood that you would normally obtain with a lancet. And once this is obtained, you would load it in the capsule and load the capsule onto the analyzer, and within 30 minutes have a Phi measurement. You'll receive this in your phone app. Everything is controlled through your phone and an application we have developed. And the reason for that is we want to not just have an assay that is very accurate and a good assay from an analytical point of view, but also something that is really, really easy to use, so anyone at home can use it. And you're very welcome to come by our booth. Everything I've shown here, we have prototypes of both our system, the analyzer, the capsules, and the sampling device. And you can even run a mock test using our app and one of the prototype analyzers. So please come by and see for yourselves how easy it is to actually run these tests. This is, I would say, a passion project for us, for the founder of our company. And we have been expanding a lot. Last time we were here in 2020, we are 20 people. Now we are more than 60 to be able to drive all of this work. And I'm here with the assay development team that gave a presentation earlier during the panel discussion. And they're dying to tell you about the work we've been doing and our vision as a company. So if you have any questions, please come by. One of the main reasons we are here is, of course, to present our technology, but primarily to hear from you and get your feedback. It's very important we have a product that solves issues. So we have a scientific poster session tomorrow for those of you interested in learning more about the performance of our assay. And we also have a booth where at least one of us will be present at all times. And we very much encourage you to come by and talk to us. Thank you very much.
Some logic.
Hello, I'm Maria Purnen. I'm a medical director at Synlogic, and I wanted to tell you about our technology in PKU. So we are committed to working together with the community to find potential treatment for PKU. And we thank you for this time and your attention. So Synlogic is a platform company. We use probiotic bacteria. We change the genome of the bacterium so that it does break down Phi in the gut and converts that to non-toxic metabolites. So everything happens within the GI tract. Nothing is injected or gets absorbed. So that is our platform.
And we can apply this same approach to many different diseases that are similar to PKU. PKU is our flagship program, if you will, furthest along in phase 2 currently. But we also have a new program coming up in homocystinuria, where the strain converts methionine to non-toxic metabolites and hopefully helps homocystinuria patients as well. We're working on many other potential targets in parallel with these that are already in the clinic. This is preaching to the choir. You know, PKU is tough. And we've asked patients for feedback. What does it mean? What would be clinically meaningful? How much more protein would you like to have in your day that would make a difference? And we conducted a survey together with the NPKUA and CAN-PKU, and I'm presenting the data tomorrow at the poster session. So please come by and see what your fellow patients and parents felt. This is our phase 2 study that's ongoing, Symphony 1. It's a 2-week dosing period where we're really learning about the investigational drug, seeing how it's tolerated, what the right dose is, how it could lower Phe in PKU patients. And as I already mentioned, our probiotic bacterium is transformed in ways that it breaks down Phe and converts that to tranexamic acid. That is also what my colleague from Nestle mentioned. It's then converted to hippuric acid and secreted in urine, so non-toxic. The drug is dosed 3 times a day with meals. It's a powder in a sachet that's mixed with water, so it's quite easy to take. To date, the safety profile has been very favorable. There's always adverse events with any drug that you take. But with this drug, what we really have seen is majority are mild to moderate GI adverse events like gasiness, bloating, abdominal discomfort. We haven't had any severe adverse events to date. Does this work? This is data from 8 PKU patients in the first arm of the ongoing Symphony 1 study. So this is interim data, a snapshot of what we know to date. After 14 days of treatment, on average, the Phe lowering that we saw was 20%. So 20% lower blood Phe after 2 weeks of treatment. When the patients stayed on the study diet, so they ate the same thing for the whole duration of the study and 2 weeks after the last dose of the drug, because we wanted to make sure that whatever change in Phe we see is not because you change your diet, but it's because our drug is working. So when they stayed on that same diet, the last bar on this graph is actually an increase in blood Phe levels from the baseline when they started. So that to us means that whatever effect we see is most likely real. As I mentioned, the safety profile has been very, very good to date. No systemic safety issues and no serious adverse events. The safety that we had observed in our healthy volunteer studies is similar to what we see in the PKU patients, and most events are mild to moderate GI issues. There was one individual who discontinued the study that was due to anxiety. That was something that they had already associated with their PKU disease. So once we have completed the phase 2, the next study will be a phase 3, which is the big thing for every company. And that means that that's the final step in showing that this drug is safe and it works. And after that, we can then apply for approval. And if you're interested, please come by our table. You can sign up to receive more information once the phase 3 study is open for patients, and we'll be happy to be in touch and hope that you'll be able to participate if that's something that you want to do. Thank you.
Next, we have Bridget from Cambrook.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bridget. I am a dietitian with Cambrook, and I am honored to be here. It's my first time being at NPKU. So I like to talk about where we came from. Cambrook started with Lynn and David Palella, our founders. They are parents of 2 kids with PKU and 1 without. And they started Cambrook to bring low protein foods to the metabolic community. In the early 2000s, they learned about a new protein, now old, but they brought it to us, called GMP. At the time, no one was interested in pursuing GMP, but they really had a passion for bringing it to the PKU community and their kids, Cameron and Brooke. They worked closely with Dr. Ney at the Weizmann Center to study GMP and make sure it was safe to use. And some of the benefits that they found were it tastes quite different. It's intact protein, so often preferred. Patients were feeling full for the first time. It helped with GI issues. And they found in adults that Phe levels were not significantly different. So in 2010, we launched our first GMP formula in the PKU community. This is Better Milk. In 2012, we wanted to create more unique options for on the go and to fit with life with PKU. So we created Restore and Complete bars. In 2014, we launched the first liquid GMP formula called RTD. And in 2018, we're really excited to bring GM Pure to the PKU community. GMP naturally has no phenylalanine, but when it's processed, it has roughly 1.8 milligrams of Phe per gram of protein. GM Pure is lower at about 40% less Phe, so it has 1 milligram of Phe per 1 gram of protein equivalent, or a 1-to-1 ratio. So we're very excited to offer a wide variety of formulas with GM Pure, and this is for anyone that would be concerned about the Phe that's in formula. So if you have more severe PKU, or if you're a child, sometimes this does matter. So currently, GM Pure is in our RTD Lights, our Builds, and our Better Milk. So recently, we reformulated our Better Milk. A lot can change in 12 years, so we knew it was time to make some updates and make it better. So it now has the GM Pure, so lower Phe. We were able to reduce the sugar by half, increase DHA, vitamin D recommendations changed, so we increased vitamin D, and we've added vitamin K2, which is important for bone health. And then I think a picture is really worth 1,000 words. You can see our new versus our old, and some feedback from an adult who's on Better Milk. It mixes quite well, and we've reduced the foaming. So we're always looking for innovation and ways to make formula better. So please come to our booth and try Better Milk and some of our other formulas. We love hearing feedback from you all and being a part of your lives. Thank you.
And Abbott.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Tara Haverkate, and I'm a registered dietitian with Abbott Nutrition. And we are so pleased to be one of this year's conference supporters. It is a pleasure to interact with all of you and support NPKUA's mission to improve the lives of individuals with PKU. I would like to take just a few minutes to share a few comments. Nutrition is such an important component of PKU management, and we invite you to stop by the Abbott exhibit to pick up some of our resources, including a PKU food guide, family guide, and food list. We will also be available for any questions you may have related to our nutrition products. We know that millions of families rely on our products and that our recent voluntary recall of certain lots of Similac, Alimentum, and EleCare powder infant formulas has caused additional stress and anxiety in an already challenging situation of a global supply shortage. As you know, the metabolic nutrition formulas, including Phenex, which many of you rely on, were not included in the recall and can continue to be used. However, the recall has led to interruptions in the availability of the metabolic formulas. Abbott has communicated that the metabolic formula products previously on hold and not a part of the recall would be released free of charge to patients in coordination with their healthcare professionals based on need and on a case-by-case basis. These products have met all testing and release requirements. Additionally, we've conducted enhanced microbiological testing to provide additional reassurances that the products are safe. Based upon historical demand and current projections, Abbott has ample existing supply of most of its specialty and metabolic formulas, including Phenex, to meet the needs of these products until new product is produced and released. Abbott will continue to provide the current supply of metabolic products free of charge to individuals in need in coordination with their healthcare professionals. We understand the urgent need for families, and our top priority is getting high quality, safe formula into the hands of families across America. We will ramp production as quickly as we can while meeting all requirements. We're committed to safety and quality, and we'll do everything we can to re-earn the trust parents, caregivers, and healthcare professionals have placed in us for 130 years. We appreciate your patience during this challenging time. Thank you, and we look forward to interacting with you further during the exhibit session.
Last but not least.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Thomas Clow from Solus Nutrition, and we are the North American distributor for Pku Labs products. Pku Labs was the innovator and the first to market with large neutral amino acid therapy. They have two technologies or two generations of LNAA. The first is Prekino, and the second was Neophy. Neophy comes in tablets plus a powdered form, and Prekino is in a tablet form. Today, we're hoping to talk. Can you go back to the first slide? Something happened. One more. Thank you. Today, I'm very glad to talk about a study that we're doing in connection with some key researchers in the market. And I'm going to ask if it's okay, Dr. Yano, Catherine Mosley, and Kirsten Ari could maybe come up and say a few words about the study. Come on up, if it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm the last. They can't kick me out. But they will talk about this study. But in a nutshell, my interpretation is the study is challenging the concept that nutritional management for PKU is more than just Phe level. So if you could feel free to say some words. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I just had a presentation a couple of minutes ago, but large neutral amino acid, we actually published to prove that improved neurotransmitters. And then we know that patient feels better. So I do not know how many clinics are using it, but then at least all of you need to know, be aware of that. LNAA is available, and then it does not have much of a calorie. Formula has lots of calories, so that's some advantage. And then let's see, what else do I need to say?
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Catherine's taking
We're
it.
going to use this tablet for our study, so please help us.
Hi, I'm Catherine Mosley, and I am a metabolic dietitian, and I'm very excited and grateful about Solace for providing the large neutral amino acids for our study. I'm extremely interested in large neutral amino acids because I have a daughter who has PKU, who's, I can't believe it, going to be 50 years old in August. And she's been on the LNAs for about 20 years, and it's just made such a difference in her life. And I'm just very excited about everything that's going on here with all these new treatments and all the gene therapy that I've been hearing for years and years, well, 10 years, there'll be a cure, 10 years, there'll be a cure. But in the meantime, my daughter needs to feel good. Our adults need to feel good. Our kids need to feel good. And I really am excited about all the new treatments that help them feel good. And my daughter, she's on large neutral amino acids, but she's on a formula also. So, and we did these studies before, as you've heard, and you'll hear more about our study tomorrow when we give a presentation. We know that it makes them feel better, but we don't have the neuropsych stuff. So our study is that to get that information and get it out in an N of 1 personalized trial to where you are your own control. And it's basically precision treatment for you, not just based on a group, because everybody's different. That's what we've totally found out. So I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here. Again, I've been at too many. And I hope that we are enrolling. We finally got our IRB approval after about a year, and it was horrendous. But if you want any information, I have flyers, and they're going to be on Solace's table. And I'd be happy to talk to any of you about the study. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kirsten's going to say something.
Wait. I'd like to introduce Kirsten, who actually, we originally brought over the Preconil tablets to our clinic with Dr. Koch over 20 years ago, and it was Preconil, and they've been using it since 1985. And I went over there and met all of these PKU adults, and I thought, oh my gosh, we have to try this. So now you can talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to talk tomorrow, so I don't have to say a lot right now, but I can say, yeah, my name is Kirsten. I worked in PKU for 25 years. And when I started in April 97, it was introduced to me as a very standard treatment in Denmark. There was around 100 patients in large neutral. But I realized then going out in Europe and doing my first presentation at the SPKU that a lot of countries did not agree on this treatment. So I felt kind of alone in the world. But then I met people like Catherine and Maria Gishevska and Serap from Turkey. So I mean, we've been a bunch of people actually believing in this treatment for many years. So I'm just very happy to be here tomorrow and share the historical background for the use of LNA in Denmark. Thank you.
All right, so once again, I just want to thank all of our sponsors. But again, we so appreciate it. And all of you, I think you all should be really as excited as I was about hearing all the new treatments, the new research, the new products. And I hope everybody's going to stop by and try all of them, see all of them, talk with all of them, and see the posters tomorrow and learn more. Lisa?
Yeah, fantastic. Another round of applause. I agree. It was amazing. So thank you.